guys, how are you? It's Christy and welcome back to my channel. As you know, I've been sick, and if you've been here a while, you know that I have an autoimmune disorder, so sometimes it does take me longer to recover from things, but this is ridiculous. I feel better and then boom, I'm right back down. So sorry for the absence, but I am back. Exciting news, we finally got some rain here. Not enough to help, but you know, we'll take what we can get. So yesterday we got the news that Jolissa Fuentes had been found. Unfortunately, she had passed away after a single car accident. Not the news that any of us wanted. I'm glad it wasn't foul play, but my heart still breaks for her family, and I ask that you keep them all in your prayers. I do have some drone footage and photos that were shared by Fresno County Sheriff's Office to share with you today. And it appears that some of you wanted me to include yesterday's presser in today's video. There's Steve. He is currently watching the Waukesha Parade trial, and he's not a fan of the defendant, so you may hear him throughout the video. Anyway, if you have already seen the presser and you don't want to watch it again, go ahead and fast forward about 17 minutes, I believe it is, 18 minutes, and we will go on from there. But for those of you that wanted it included, I'm going to go ahead and play that for you now. Like I said, it's about 18 minutes long. But I feel like, you know, we get to hear from the family and see just how really humble the sheriff is. And I think it's good to take a look at and listen to. So I'm going to go ahead and play that now. I may step away, I may be on and off here, but I will be back as soon as the presser is done.
Let's get somewhere on this side, even things out. We'll just have this is good. Go ahead.
You want to start off, Sheriff? Or
I'll introduce you. I'll
okay.
introduce you.
It's your house.
Oh, all right. It's your case.
Yes.
It ends up being all of ours. Well, thank you for being here today. We're here to announce that the missing person, Jolissa Fuentes, has been found in rural eastern Fresno County. This particular missing person case belongs to Selma Police Department. Up here on the dais, I have members of Jolissa's family as well as Chief Rudy Alcarez of the Selma Police Department. And we'll start off with Chief Alcarez talking about the case, recapping where it started, where it's gone since Jolissa went missing in August of this year. Chief Alcarez.
Thank you, Sheriff. Good morning. Thank you all for being in attendance today. I first want to thank the Sheriff, the Sheriff's Department, Fresno Police Department, the FBI, Reedley Police Department, the Sanger Police Department, and all the numerous agencies throughout this nation that helped us follow up on tips and leads as we navigated this investigation. So just to recap, Ms. Fuentes was reported as a missing person on August 8, 2022. Her family was extremely concerned that she did not come back home. She wasn't answering her phone, which was very uncommon for Ms. Fuentes. Once they reported this case, that Ms. Fuentes was missing on August 8th, we began to write search warrants for cell phones, look at social media platforms in an attempt to locate Ms. Fuentes. After numerous search warrants and reviewing data over the last few months, we really did not see a lot of activity beyond the August 8th date. That being said, I would like to thank, and I absolutely have to acknowledge the great work that the Fuentes family did in getting information out about their daughter across this nation. It was absolutely phenomenal, their reach and their ability to get that kind of information out in such a short amount of time. The numerous people, citizens that volunteered of their own time with their own resources to go out and search for Ms. Fuentes was huge. Very impressive how the community came together to try to bring Ms. Fuentes home. With that, we again didn't have much digital data to go on beyond August 8th, and we're following up on leads again across this nation, none to the success that we were looking for. Yesterday, we went back out to the Pine Flat area and were able to locate evidence that Ms. Fuentes was involved in a traffic collision, and her vehicle went off the side of the road, up off of Trimmer Springs Road, what I would describe as the northern part of Pine Flat Lake. At that time, we were able to come back and reconnect with the sheriff's office and the search and rescue team, who then went out last night till at least midnight and rappelled down a 250-foot cliff to recover Ms. Fuentes. So, again, this was a joint effort by all of our law enforcement agencies. Our investigators did a phenomenal job of researching tons and tons of digital data, trying to locate Ms. Fuentes, and we wish that there was, we had better news and that it wasn't such a sad time right now, if you will. I wish that we could have brought Ms. Fuentes home healthy. However, it appears that she passed during this collision. No, this would be a single car accident.
This was an area that was searched a lot, that Pine Flat Lake area. Why wasn't it found previously?
So it was searched, and again, hats off to search and rescue. If you've been out there and you've walked and actually gotten out of your vehicle and looked at this area, you're talking about a vast amount of geography with heavy foliage, cliffs. Again, search and rescue was down 200 feet, and we couldn't even see them anymore, even with their flashlights. So they're down 200 feet, then they go down another cliff beyond that. There really were no remnants of the vehicle on the side of that hill where she was located. It was just a perfect storm. Someone couldn't try to hide a car better than that. It's just very unfortunate. And once we get pictures of that area, it'll be very evident how something can get lost up there very easily.
Do you feel like you hit a rock or something that misguided your car?
You know, I would imagine that, you know, to speculate, I think she'd been up all night and just fell asleep and was tired and at the wrong place of the road in the bend, and it's just an unfortunate accident.
You know, I will say that the Highway Patrol is investigating the actual traffic accident, so they're recovering the car as well as investigating the area to see if they can come up with any additional information about the cause of the actual traffic accident. And I want to say something here. Chief Alcarez is a very humble man, and he won't say this about himself. He personally found the scene of the accident. He went up to the mountains yesterday on his own, researching areas that had already been searched, and on his own, he actually found the scene of the accident. I'll say, being a woman of faith, I think he was divinely channeled to that area, Along with his police instinct, I think that it was meant to be that he be the one, because he's worked so very hard on this case for so long with the family, that he has literally put an end to the search for Jolissa. So hats off to Chief Alcarez. The city of Selma is very lucky to have him. His personal dedication, his police experience, and paying attention to his gut was really important on putting an end to this case. So with that, the family, I'll introduce Jolissa's father, Joe. He's here to speak on the behalf of the family.
Yes, my name is Joey Fuentes. I'm the father of Jolissa Fuentes. And first of all, I want to thank the community, not just the community, this whole nation. The cries and the war pain of my wife and my sisters and my family was heard around this whole country. They didn't stop. They were persistent. And when this first happened with my daughter, I talked to Chief Alcarez. I told him man to man, I'm talking to you. Do you have a daughter? Do you have children? He told me, yes, I do, Joey. I go, I want you to go after my daughter like she's your daughter, Chief. And you know what he told me? He goes, I promise you, Joey. I promise you, I will find your daughter. At this time, we were hearing all kinds of stories. She was kidnapped, the cartels had her. There was so much stories out there, but he promised me he was going to find my daughter. He didn't tell me, he couldn't tell me when, but he was going to find her. And he was the one that found her. He was a man of his word. And he's a young chief in the city of Selma. He says he wants to change things around here. You know, it's a small town, but he wants to make a change for the better. And I thank God, he's my hero. He is my hero, you know, and I've known him for a while. But he was persistent, and his persistence paid off. And not only that, I know it was his love. And he went after her like if it was hers. And once again, though, I thanked all the community. I even thanked the media. You kept my daughter out there. You kept her alive. We were her voice. And I'll forever love you guys for that. Thank you, guys. Thank you.
So a little bit more about the area. That area is a good 60 miles, I would say, east of the city of Fresno, back up on Trimmer Springs Road. As you know, the Pine Flat kind of runs east and west, but the rivers come in at the very east end of Pine Flat Lake, and it's right there where near Maxon Road and Trimmer Springs, where the vehicle was found. And the chief was right. It was, when we got the call, search and rescue, they used a total of 475 feet of rope to rappel. Not only did they have the initial ledge that they had to rappel off of, but they came to another ledge at the end of that. They had to rappel again down to where the vehicle was. You could not see it from the lake. You could not see it from the road. Chief Alcarez found what he thought was the place where the car went off. He couldn't see the car from where he was, but we did send out some drones and discover it in very close range with the drone able to see the vehicle. So very difficult terrain. However, we were able to bring Jolissa home last night. Now the coroner's office will conduct the positive identification, but there's little doubt that we have found her. So with that, are there any questions? Chief, come on over.
Did you see, how did you pinpoint where she went down?
You know, our staff, we put an enormous amount of pressure on them. Their caseloads are huge. Search and rescue. I don't even know how many cases they've had this year. I've got a fresh set of eyes, a lot of police instinct, and a little bit of faith and prayer, and I just got lucky. And sometimes luck is all you need, and I just got lucky. I tried to be very poignant with where I pulled over on the side of the road and kind of looked for areas that, if a car did go off the side of the road, that there it would be highly likely that it would be masked with the foliage and the terrain. And the last area that I checked was the perfect area, and that's where we found Miss Fuentes. So I just got lucky.
Was this at a bend in the road?
It is exactly at a bend in the road, at one of the probably higher points of the roadway that traverses through Pine Flat.
Do we think that the collision happened that Sunday night, early Monday morning?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah. And again, the CHP will be working with the family to compile more data from the vehicle itself as the Highway Patrol starts that portion of the investigation.
And is this close to where the cell phone tower is, where the pings were?
You know, I don't have exact coordinates right now, so we'll again, like any case, we'll sit down, we'll debrief it, and determine, you know, how we deciphered the data.
Do investigators know why she was in that area at that time?
It's my understanding that Ms. Fuentes really enjoyed the Pine Flat area, and anybody that goes up there, it's a beautiful place. It really is. It's gorgeous. And I think my best bet, she just went for a drive, kind of like what I did yesterday. Just wanted to go for a drive.
Chief, when you went to this last spot, what did you find? Any evidence on the side? Did you see anything when you were looking that might have put you to look down?
Just it's a obviously the whole area is dried up right now. There's a lot of heavy brush. There were some tire tracks that you really can't see until you get out of the car and actually walk and get on. You're actually on top of it, and that's kind of what keyed me off and started to spend more time in that area.
They looked like they just went to nowhere.
Yeah. Yes. And again, the Highway Patrol is going to have a much more impressive explanation, much more detailed as they conduct their investigation.
Do we believe drugs or alcohol might play a factor in this crash?
It would be improper for me to speculate. Yeah. Right.
Sheriff, I see the emotion on your face. I mean, it's good to have this closure, but that's a very heartbreaking update. Can you speak to that?
Whenever law enforcement get these kind of reports, we're always hopeful. We're always hopeful, always optimistic that we can bring a family member back to a family whole and intact, and it's a good ending. But it's not always, it didn't always happen. And it's heartbreaking, not only for the family when you see their pain, but it's heartbreaking for law enforcement when we work so very hard to try and have the best possible outcome. We can only imagine what it feels like for the family. We know what it feels like for us when we try so hard. We train for this, to be in the difficult places and difficult terrain. But still, it's heartbreaking that we cannot always have a happy ending to these stories. But what we are able to do is at least have an ending for the family so that they know as much as we can possibly gather information for them to know that we tried our best. And again, kudos to Chief Alcarez, because it was above and beyond for him to have that feeling of needing to take a drive yesterday and ending up where he did and ending up calling us saying, I can't see it, but it could be here. And he was right. We're grateful that we were able to bring, at least to this point, to the family that we have Jolissa, and they're going to be able to have her where they want her now, at peace.
Question for the chief. Could you talk about your like day yesterday, how it started, why you felt the need to drive all the way and that far? What was it?
I think the sheriff said it best: divine intervention. You got to be in our business and deal with the things we deal with. You got to be a person of faith. It takes faith to do great things, but just faith. Divine intervention is probably my best explanation. And if you have no more questions,
All right, thank you all very much.
thank you.
Thank you.
All right, so wow. I am a person of faith, and I'm Native American, so spiritual in a lot of different ways, I guess you could say. Sometimes there is divine intervention, or you may just call it intuition, right? That you just get that feeling like you're drawn somewhere for some reason. You don't really know why, but something is telling you to go there, right? I talk a lot on this channel about listening to your gut feelings, that they're usually right, that intuition, instincts they're real. And in this case, it seems like that's what led to them being able to bring Jolissa home. I fell in love with her family very early on. They are such wonderful, amazing people, and they are people of very strong faith. They had several prayer gatherings, and even all of us out here, I prayed for investigators and searchers to be able to use all their knowledge and available resources and just to please be guided to bring her home. And for the Fuentes family, this is an answered prayer. Yes, she's not with us anymore, but they are able to know, and they are able to lay her to rest. And you can see the dad, yes, they are grieving, but they are so thankful to the chief for finding their girl. And it's just, there's no words, right? Like I said, this isn't the resolution that any of us wanted, but I'm glad that she is home with her family. And there is, I guess you could say, resolution. I won't say closure, because there won't be closure. A loss like this will always be there, but there's resolution. The not knowing has been lifted, so that's a good thing. Sorry, when I got up, I am still in my pajamas. I put on one of my comfy hoodies, but you may have got a shot of my cow pajama bottoms, and if so, I'm sorry, but I'm sick and I just want to be comfortable. So let's take a look. If you remember, it was about 2 or 3 weeks into the investigation, and the police finally gave a presser, the one and only presser. And at that time, the chief had said something to the effect of, as the weather changed and the foliage began to die off, that they may be able to find her. And it seems like that played a part here. When we look at the search area, because at first I was like, holy crap, this place has been searched so many times by so many people, and she was right there. After looking at the area, no, it's obvious why she wasn't found. And if you remember early on, the pings were in the Avocado Pine Flat Lake area, and it had come to light that a lot of times there are false pings from that area, and some people thought maybe that's what this was, but where she was found was in that area. I don't know. The ping area they gave us was pretty vague, right? And it's a very vast area out there. So I don't know how close in relation to the ping she was found, but sorry, it is in that area. So this is the search area. As you can see, Pine Flat Lake there, and it's very near the water. Thank God she wasn't in the water. I mean, if she was, I'm sure Adventures with Purpose would have found them when they were there. Here's a little closer up. And then I got a map here. So this is where it was at, and a little closer up, I put the two roads, the Trimmer Springs and Maxon roads. And you know, they talked about the bend, right? If I had to guess, and this is just a guess, she was probably perhaps on Maxon Road, and it only takes a second of taking your eyes off the road for something to go wrong. We know Jolissa was responsible. She was a very hard worker. Her family said that she worked 6 days a week. She may have worked that day. We know she was up all day. She had been at that family and friends gathering until 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. She had gone to the AM PM at 4, and then she went for this drive, and we're never going to know why she called her sister those 2 times. Sadly, we will never know what that was about. It may have been her saying, I'm getting ready to head home. We don't know. But chances are she was tired, and she probably had drinks at the gathering. We know she was going to smoke. So when she came around the bend, she may have just nodded off, right? It could have been that fast. And instead of making it around the bend, she went straight off. Or she could have been going down Trimmer Springs Road and just veered off the side. I don't know. But here is a look. This is the incline that she went off of. It's so steep, you guys. They said 250 feet down. But look at that incline. I mean, once she went off, there would have been really little to no chance of recovering and getting back up the road. These are the searchers as they start rappelling down the incline. I just wanted you to see, you can see the water in the background. Like I said, it is very near the water, and again, you can see the steepness. Look at the road, and then look at the guy that's on the side of the incline there. And also notice the foliage from the trees is gone. And in a minute, you're going to see why I think that played a big role in them being able to finally find her. They may have already been over that area with a helicopter, with a drone, whatever. And honestly, after looking at the pictures, I see how it could have been missed. So in this picture, they're continuing down to where her car came to a rest. If you look behind, directly behind the second guy, you can see her car back there. It's in that shaded area. It's covered with trees, right? And honestly, it almost blends in with the landscape, the color of her car. And with that heavy tree coverage there, it would have been hard to notice, I'm sure. This next picture really shows you You see what I mean? It with the fallen trees, the dead trees around, and then you've got the living trees above that would have been covering as well. But it almost blends in. It almost blends in. It would have really been difficult to see, honestly, even if you were walking in the area, if you weren't right up on it, if you were just glancing around, unless there was something that really caught your eye, you could have just glanced right by this because it just it blends in. I couldn't believe how much it blended in with the landscape around it. Here's another shot. You know, like I said, it's got, you know, you've got the dead trees, the limbs and the rocks, and like I said, to me it really blends in. And I can see the difficulty in finding her car. It's amazing that they did find it. And then here, now here it obviously it does seem to stand out a little more from the landscape from this angle. But the amount of damage is heartbreaking, and it is on the driver's side. She likely rolled down the incline, and I just pray it was fast. She didn't suffer. I would say by looking at the damage in this photo, it was probably instant. It's obviously not a survivable crash. And my heart just breaks for Jolissa and her family. This is just, it's heartbreaking. It's heartbreaking. I mean, the amount of damage, just, you know, the tires, everything. I mean, and it looks like airbags deployed. I assume that's airbags we're seeing in the car. And then I have a picture. This is the scene at night. The searchers were still there. I just kind of wanted you to see. Obviously, their lights are on, and she would have had her lights on. But you can see how dark it is and how easy it might be to just simply miss a curve. You know, like I said, it takes seconds to have your eyes off the road for something to go wrong. And if she had dozed off, it's easy to see how this could have happened. So it is heartbreaking. I also wanted to share Fresno County Sheriff's Office drone footage. It's very interesting. It gives you a very good perspective on where she was found. So I'm gonna play that now. It's only like a minute and a half long, but I think it's worth the look. So here we go with the drone footage. So you can really see in that drone footage, it obviously is an incline, which we can tell from the photos, but it just looks like a sheer cliff, almost just a drop. And then she was so far down there, and let's just kind of roll it again while we're talking. If you picture it with the full foliage, right, with all the leaves on the trees, can you imagine flying over looking for a vehicle? I really think it could have easily been missed. And by no fault of the searchers, by any stretch of the imagination. Just look at this. If it was completely full, even now, it's hard to see. I mean, that it's such a massive area. It's amazing that the chief had that instinct, that intuition that led him there to finding this. I mean, it could have been much, much longer before this was discovered. It's incredible. But you see, like, from this angle, you almost can't see the incline. It just looks like a sheer drop. It's hard to think about. So, like I said, let's just try to remember all the great things that we've learned about Jolissa throughout this investigation. What a wonderful person she was, how much her family meant to her and how much she meant to them, and keep them in your thoughts and your prayers, because they have been going through such a difficult time, but this is still going to be difficult days, months, years ahead for them. So just like I said, keep them in your thoughts and prayers. I know they would appreciate that, and they just really need the comfort right now. If you are on their Facebook page, maybe leave them just a message to comfort them, to give them the strength that they're going to need, and just let them know that just because she was found, we didn't stop caring about them or Jolissa. We're still here, and we feel their pain, and we care about what they're going through. So until the official accident report comes out, that's all we know right now. They really seem to think she fell asleep, and I think that's probably what happened, given the amount of time she had been awake, the area she was in, the time that it was. It's very likely. Or, you know, I don't know, out here, you know, an animal can run in front of you while you're driving and you swerve to miss it. I don't know, but like I said, it wasn't foul play. It's a single car accident that sadly she did not survive. So that's all the update. That's all the update my voice will let me do right now. Thank you all for bearing with me through my illness. I do have a couple more videos I'm going to try to get up for you today. I know I am so behind, but we'll get there together, okay? So thank y'all for stopping by this morning and spending some time with me to remember Jolissa and to get updated on what happened. And I really appreciate everyone being here, all of your comments, all of your messages. Y'all are so great. And if you haven't already subscribed, please go ahead and do that. Give this video a thumbs up, share it so others can see the footage and get a better understanding of what happened and where. And as always, I will see you all in the next one.